And that is a PR for Quinn Aldrich. She has a seat time of 12:44, and she just ran around 12:38, so good for her. So we see the rest of the competitors starting to finish up their final lap.
All 4x4s should be checking in at this time. All 4x4s.
As we hear the click of Davia DeLuca's camera.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to flip my my mic up.
Oh, you're good. As like we said before, if you would like to see any of these shots that are taken and edited by Davio himself, you can go to NewHampshireTrackandField.com. And under the main logo of the website, there will be a tab of photos and videos. You can click on that, and it will take you to, I believe it's SmugMug. And
yes,
there you can select the season and the year that you would like, going from multiple meets, and be able to go through all the photos from the meet and just check them out, or you can download them to your computer.
Full resolution.
And for those who run cross-country and look for cross-country photos, you can go to NewHampshireCrossCountry.com. And the same thing, go to the Photos and Videos tab. It'll take you to SmugMug, and you can do the exact same thing. Look up the year going back to 2016 and the meet, and be able to grab your photos to download or just check them out.
Yeah, and they are all uploaded in full quality, so they look very, very good. And when you download them, it's still in that full quality.
And congratulations to all those finishers in the women's 3,200 meters. We are now going to hop into the men's 3,200 meters. And it looks like we have a full heat today. We have 12 runners, starting off with Sam Stiles from Berlin, Ben Bolton, Connor Trafie, Gavin Garcia, Robert McLean, Noah Moseo, Braden Landry, Joe Sullivan, Eric Phelps, Frank Dowd, Zach Allen, and Ian LaRoche. Looking at the seed times, we have Sam Stiles from Berlin coming in at a 10:38, followed closely behind by Kearsarge Ben Bolton at a 10:39. So those two look to go head-to-head today. In third, we have Messinic Regional's Connor Trafie, who looks to try to compete with those two.
Avery's brother, Avery Trafie.
Yes.
It's pretty quick.
Freshman. Traffies, Valancourts. That's Messinic names right there.
I remember racing his brother.
So we just got a nice gust of wind going through the track right now, but it should die back down to what it was. Maybe helping cool off these 3,200 meter runners as they just began the first lap of 8.
8 laps.
As we see, it looks like Sam Stiles out in front trying to make a little gap, but
he's pushing
close
pretty hard.
behind you have Ben Bolton and Connor Trafie from Messinic Regional trying to close that gap. And it looks like we might have Gavin Garcia hanging right on the back of them. And we got a nice little train going. We're going to go through in a 72.
Not too shabby.
Starting to spread out a little bit more, kind of string out a little bit but we still have Sam Styles up front with a slight gap over the next two, Ben Bolton and Connor Trafie.
That Harry's brother.
And for those just coming in to watch this video, this is NewHampshireTrackandField.com, powered by Runners Alley. We are at the 2019 Wilderness League Championships, sponsored by Tim's Truck Capital.
Tim's Truck Capital picked up the Meat Tub sponsorship for the state championships and meet champions.
Really?
So we definitely are very thankful to them. Obviously centered in Epsom, but they just keep growing and growing because they do right by their customers.
And we cannot make this
Fun
stuff
fact,
happen without them.
Fun fact, Tim Emery, they call him the younger Tim. He owns it, and he was a cross-country runner for Co Brown
Really?
back in the early 2000s. Had a great kick, also played baseball and basketball.
It's a small world.
Yep. But he's a runner, so he understands. So he tries to help support the whole state this way, and we're very thankful for both him and Tim's Truck Capital as well as Runners Alley.
It's great to see companies as well as all these fans going out and contributing, helping run the meets, helping sponsor and support these meets and these athletes going on to do bigger and better things. As we see Sam Styles still out front, looking pretty strong, solo effort, followed by Connor Trafie and Ben Bolton.
Results of the women's pole vault in a tie for fifth: Danielle Solomon of Kennett and Adria Cormack of Kennett. In fourth place, Greta Achenbach of Interlakes.
And right behind them, we have Gavin Garcia from Kearsarge as well. So you got two Kearsarge athletes in the top four.
Got to give a shout out to Cody Tangway. He's been up in the volleyball stand filming this whole meet. He has not moved once, I think. Or he came down one time,
He came down one time, but he's doing a great job. Probably one of the best videographers in the state.
Did you have to say that because he's your brother?
No,
And
he
your
probably
parents
won't.
will
He probably
crush you?
won't. They probably won't go and look at this, to be 100% honest.
All right, those guys, the leaders are through anywhere from 2:37 to 2:41. That's about 10:30 pace. You're checking my math right now, aren't you, Evan and Davio? I'm right.
That would be a PR.
wasn't
That would be a PR.
Let's see if we keep rolling.
I'm a big PR guy. I like to see people go out and get some PR, so I'm always on
You're-
PR watch.
You're well in the you're in the public relations, are you?
Yeah. I'm here for the people.
A man of the people. Evan Tech.
I try to be.
You gonna run for office someday?
It's a chance. There's a chance.
President Tangway.
Maybe something in Deerfield, or maybe I'll start my own town. Who knows?
Start your own town. Wow.
That's pretty ambitious, Evan.
I have some big goals.
Is it going to be Evanfield?
Evansville.
Well, that's already a place like that. It's in
I'm
Indiana.
gonna take it over.
Well, that's not starting your own town. That's
You're
different.
being ridiculous.
You know, sometimes you get those thoughts that run through your head. Getting a good pat on the back by my old coach there. It's good to
Berlin,
see the
man.
support.
You
Like,
gotta run
like
tough.
your old coach is in your like previous coach, or
No, I'm
he's
old.
old. You saw a picture of him, I'll tell you. No. Looking good. Up front, Sam Styles still holding the
We
lead.
just got our last set of heat sheets. There's a mile plus to go. It's 12:49.
It's gonna be close.
pretty good.
Their field events are winding down. Actually, their field events are done.
Yeah, we're good on
So,
field events.
Scott Clark might come true here.
I might have to go and tamper with the gun or something.
What do you want to get out of here later?
I put 130. Yeah. I don't like to be incorrect about my no sports betting. You know, it's not legal, but yeah.
No sports betting.
That was a whole big thing in college. They have this whole big thing that says don't bet on it, especially when March Madness comes around.
Styles starting to look over his shoulder.
I think
Coming into the mile.
and he has a pretty
I think
comfortable
Kearsarge-
gap, but
I think
Kearsarge
Kearsarge
making a
might
push.
Make this interesting in the second mile. Both look comfortable though. Both look like they're just kind of going through, running their races. Coming through the mile.
Kearsarge is definitely closing that gap.
Let's see. not the mile, I'm sorry. That's 6:25 through 2,000 meters.
And like I said, Ben Bolton, he could definitely give Styles a run for his money if he can close that gap a tiny bit more. He's
Sub
still got
10:20 pace.
still got some laps to go, but
But they just slowed down immensely.
Looking good.
it's kind of strange
About
to go
10:20 pace.
from the college season, which is done really early, compared to the high school season, which is still going strong right now. We're not even in the championship season truly yet.
Right.
It's a little bit different.
I think this is the championship season right here.
Yeah, although
Yesterday,
big invitationals.
in
does
theory, you
the-
can count that, yeah.
It does feel like we just
Year.
started spring track, though. 'cause
Seacoast
the
and
weather
Wilderness
just got good.
Championships.
It does feel like the beginning of track.
Yeah, it
Yeah, it does. Remember last year we had snow on the first meet?
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, we're due for these times every so often, these seasons every so often. I tell you, Kearsarge is making a run for it here.
Yeah,
Pun intended.
Slowly closing up that gap.
They're
got
running
about
82nd pace right now. So
10 meters.
740, 746 through 2,400 meters. So now I've gone a 10:25 pace in a couple laps here. So let's see what happens.
It looks like Styles is going to try to
Little
turn up a
traffic.
little bit, but Kearsarge is still closing that gap inch by inch.
Inch by inch.
That's Ben Bolton from Kearsarge. He was voted athlete with the best hair. He's making a big move right now to catch up. So he might draw even with him. And going into the bell lap coming up. He might pass him. He might pass him
very
before
well
the bell
could.
lap.
I want to see if Styles has anything saved up. I know we dropped the pace down, slowed it down a tiny bit the last couple laps, but I want to see if he has anything in the tank
Could
left.
just be gathering himself.
Yeah.
They're starting to hit lapped runners now. I would think if I was coaching Bolton, I want him right on his shoulder right now if he's going to have a hope. Lap runner nicely. Teammate of Styles went out to lane 2 to a lot of leaders. That shows us
Very
it's
helpful.
pretty
Class.
heady. Yep. Classy. Bolton needs to catch up right now. He needs to close up right now, and then we got a real big
He
race.
definitely has
on our
closed that gap nicely over that last lap or so.
hands. 80 seconds again.
And he has his eyes on his
Here's
back right
Bolton.
now. He's seeing it.
Let's see how Styles responds. He's been running by himself the whole time. Bolton's just been kind of
And he's right on him now.
He's been hunting. He's got to try to make the pass somewhere here.
I can see it right coming up in the straightaway. He's going to try to make some sort of move. We're going to see if Styles can cover
is
it.
strong, man.
He's definitely pushing.
I think Ben's got something left. And I think Styles has something left.
Could be
Let's
very
see if this
interesting.
materializes. It's not like last night at Seacoast where we had like 15 lead changes in 3 laps.
That was incredible.
And then neither of them won.
Neither of them won. That's a little bit, shows something. Sometimes you just got to settle in and let the guy work.
Exactly.
All right, come up the turn. Styles looks good. So does Ben. Let's see what happens
We're
with
going to
Bolton.
see what really happens. I mean, like I said, it looks like Styles might have
Bolton and
saved something
Styles
for this
both
one.
are going to their kick. Their
Starting
final
to see the
stretch kick.
arms really
It's gonna
fire.
be speed.
And here comes,
It's like
you're going to
Bolton. Bolton's coming
like
up
Bolton's
on him.
coming on the outside, but it looks like Styles
Sam
has
Styles
something
made
left.
a nice little slide. They're going to both break
And it's going to
10:20.
be a push.
What do we got?
And it is
it's
going to be
Styles
Styles in the
Wire to
end.
tape. Pretty excited.
10-15.
He falls down in dramatic fashion.
Incredible,
Pretty happy.
incredible effort by Bolton right there, cleaning up that that gap on the last 800 or so. But great sportsmanship right there between the two, congratulating each other. Saw some good PRs right there. 10-15 or so, 10-16.
Good time
That
from
was
Traffy too for a freshman.
about
pretty
20-second PR for those two guys. And yeah, Traffy right there for
About 10:35,
10:35. That's another big PR for him. About 16 seconds or so. Great effort by everyone in these races. Both
pretty fast for a
3,200 meters.
freshman, too.
Yeah, both of these races, 3,200. It's great effort, and congratulations to all competitors.
Pretty good stuff today.
Beautiful day, great meet.
A lot of good competition.
And it's nice to showcase some of this D3 action. They don't get a ton of spotlight, but when they do, they definitely like to come out and show out.
Come on, Zach! Come on,
And I'll say it, today really got me amped for states. I know I'm excited to see my home team, Co-Brown, compete, but D3 definitely has some racers in there that'll be interesting to see and watch how things go down.
All 3 divisions are going to be really, really interesting at states.
It's really up in the air. I mean, I know D1 Pinkerton has
good
it
weekend.
pretty solid, but I mean D2 and D3 are really up in the air.
Even besides like the team championships, you know, we're going to have a lot of good, you know, good performances by individuals in different events.
Great run!
There's a lot of events where it's not really clear cut who the top athlete is. So it should be pretty
Very true.
competitive in all 3 divisions.
So now we're going to get into the final event of the day. And starting off with the women's 4x400 meter relay. We have 2 heats of this. In the first heat, we have Messinic Regional, Newfound Regional, and Maltonborough. And they're going to be in lanes 3, 4, and 5, respectively.
Where's Newfound's first runner? Blue. Way up on the blue. Perfect. Way up on the blue.
Blue line in your lane. Up to the blue line.
Keep going. One more.
Having some issues finding the start line.
Looks like we're all set to go now.
It is confusing, all these different stagger lines. You
It's
got
very true. There's a lot of lines on the track.
a white stagger line, you got a yellow stagger line, you got a blue zone arrow, you got a red stagger line, you got a blue stagger line. It's confusing.
So now we're going to get into the women's 4x400 meter relay. Like we said, the first heat. And it looks like we have top seed out of this one is Newfound Regional at a 4:54, followed by 5:03 by Maltonborough, and Messinic Regional coming in with a 5:31. And we are joined back with Jalason Nelson.
Yes.
Sprinting expert, or sprinting
Or
nerd.
nerd.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier.
And we are off with the first of 2 heats.
Dos.
And it looks
Fuegos.
like Newfound's out to a pretty good start.
I don't know if that's accurate.
I don't know, I haven't taken Spanish in a few years.
I never took Spanish.
I mean, it's sad. I took like 5 years of Spanish and like have no idea
It took like 2
how
or
to say a full
3,
sentence
and
anymore.
I took French.
Okay.
Don't know any.
that's about right.
Yeah.
Even
Know
though
a
you're
little bit Italian.
Did you have
yeah.
to take a language so far in college? No?
No.
No?
And
I have to
going
for
into
my major.
engineering,
Yeah, no, I was going to say mine's communication, so.
all just math and
Yep.
science.
Yeah, definitely not what I want to do. But good for you.
Yeah, I think I had to take like 1 English credit, and that was it.
Yeah,
So.
makes sense.
So we see, looks like Maltonborough and Newfound coming down the lane. Looks like Maltonborough's going to have the slight advantage over Newfound going into the handoff. Got to be careful with the handoff. It looks like Newfound had a much better handoff than Maltonborough, so now they're pretty even going into the turn.
Finish in the top 3, receive
As
awards.
we see
You can get
Messina
those.
coming
This is
down.
kind of like the medium
Also
ground
over at the track
in
center,
between what we were talking about earlier
concessions
with
and
the 4x1 handoffs and
Yep.
the 4x8 handoffs.
championship t-shirts.
You have a little
On
leeway,
sale
but not as
now,
much as the 4x8, but you
$10.
definitely want to make sure you get
Can't
going like the
get
4x1.
any better
Right.
training
Especially
than
if it's like
over
super
the
close
t-shirt.
and
Yep.
Go over there
It's
and
definitely
get
more-
those.
Because
Also,
400s can come
for
down to
athletes,
some
if
pretty
you
close
want
races.
it's still, I guess you could say the 400 is still
Runners
considered a
Alley,
sprinting event,
New
Yeah,
so
Hampshire
yeah.
you still need to have that decent
for your
handoff.
interviews.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider the 400
No.
middle distance. Even the 800 is still almost a sprinting event.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's still pretty fast.
And we have Newfound coming down the straightaway going into the third handoff. Looking pretty comfortable in the lead with about a little over 50-meter lead over Maltonborough. And not a terrible handoff. It's pretty comfortable lead, so they don't have to worry about that as much.
You can kind of relax and just, you know, make sure you get a nice solid handoff.
And that's the thing with the first couple legs. You want to make sure you can get out because that takes the pressure off of the third and fourth leg, especially the anchor.
Yeah, no one wants to be the anchor and, you know, see your teammate battling out with somebody coming down the straightaway. And you're like, oh,
trying to do the work ahead of time.
I'm in for it. Yep.
especially I know this is the last event of the day, but we look at some of the other ones, and if you have to go and grind out and really push on a 4x8 beginning of a meet, that can take some out of you if you have to go back and double or triple.
Right.
Which we saw some
Yeah.
some pretty competitive 4x8s.
Wind picking up a little bit right now.
It's really windy.
It's got a little cold, but held out for the majority of the day.
I just interviewed the girl that won the 32. She said that wind on one of the turns is. She said that was her biggest challenge of the 32 was that wind.
This must be tough for these 400 runners.
Right.
You know, you're trying to
Going faster.
You're trying to work so hard, like
Yeah.
basically sprinting all out, and you got the wind in your face.
Right.
And that was the thing is like, especially for our home track, Co Brown, you have that whole back straightaway, but then when you get into like the lane, the turn 3 or 4, turn 3 and 4, you hit like a wall.
Yeah.
You don't think you think it'd be the back straightaway, but it's the turn that you really hit the wall, and you're just like, oh.
Yeah, I got a sub 2 800 stolen from me from that wind. Came around the 600 at like 127, 128. So, you know, pretty well under 2 flat pace, and got hit by a wall.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I got the school record in the 100, and they didn't count it because of the wind. So
Ooh, that's rough.
That stinks.
too much tailwind, they said.
And
yeah, that's like Matt Bowling.
Yep.
Ran 998, but doesn't count because it was +4 meters per second.
And that was Newfound taking the dub in the first heat with around a 440 or so, 450. We're at 5 flat right now. We're looking for Moultonborough to finish. Looking good, 507.
In 4th place, Gavin Garcia of Kearsarge.
And we're seeing Messinic on the back corner.
In 2nd place, Ben Bolton.
Some good efforts from that team. It's great to see them go out there and compete to their best ability.
Yeah, this race is spread out.
Yeah, for a 4x4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
See how the second heat does in terms of competitiveness.
But we see a good surge by Messinic on this final straightaway. Great effort for her to finish this
Strong
out.
finish.
And she and they
She
come in at a
just
5:46,
ran the 32.
47.
Wow.
Wow. And she,
That's
I believe
rough.
she got,
I bet
she
her
might have
legs
got
feel
third.
like jello.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Finish the 32, run 8 laps. You finish and immediately have to run a 4x4.
And it's not like it's slow.
That's tough.
So we go into the second heat of the women's 4x400 meters. We have White Mountains, Kearsarge, Plymouth Regional, Guilford, Kennett, and Prospect Mountain.
Although, having said that, I did run my 400 PR after the 2 mile.
Different systems.
Yeah, I guess so.
You have a long distance
Got me
system.
nice
you
and warmed
got
up.
some, Got some sprint systems. But so yeah, we look at the top seed, and this one is Plymouth Regional with a 425 flat, followed closely behind by Guilford with a 425.9.
Those are 2 very different races.
Very different, yeah. You go from conserving to pretty much an all-out sprint. So
Yeah, feels a little weird.
In 4th place, Mark McDonald, Moultonborough.
I feel like for something like that, you have to be very strong mentally to
Yeah.
get both through.
Yeah.
Get through both of those.
You almost got to turn your mind off at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
kind of
yeah.
that's kind of what I was thinking. I was just like,
No,
I don't care.
One lap
like,
and I'm done.
whatever.
I
Just
gotta
run.
Go for 1 lap.
I didn't even think about it. I do like the 400 that it's nice mentally because it's 1 lap. It's like, okay, I just run around the track.
Yeah.
You know.
In fourth
I just
place,
ran 8. I can
in the
run
tie
one
for
more.
fourth place, Catherine Lures of Plymouth. Gabby Clark of Prospect
So we are off in the second heat of the women's 4x400 meter relay. And this is going to be the final race for on the girls' side today.
of Plymouth. And the winner of the
We're going to
women's
see
high
if
jump, the height of 5
if
foot
Plymouth
even
Plymouth
from
Regional and
Israel.
Guilford are going to battle out for that top
Wheeler.
spot. We also could see a mix-up with Kearsarge and Kennett followed closely behind.
Kearsarge got looks like Maya Doobie hopping back in for the 4x4. I don't know if I've seen her race 4x4 before, but I would imagine she's got to be pretty quick.
We got a really close race coming around this turn right here. 3-person race with Plymouth, Kennett, and Prospect Mountain. As we see, Prospect Mountain drops the baton.
Oh, really?
Did they?
Yes, they did drop the baton. It might have hit off of Kennett's elbow, but they did drop it down coming off that last turn. We're going to see the handoff of Kennett at about a 64.
I think you're the only one that saw that. I missed it.
I
We know you can't see
didn't
that
see
far
that at
anyway.
all. No.
I know. I looked over at the monitor to see because I couldn't quite see. From
Ooh,
the
Oh,
angle.
right.
using the monitor.
Weird. That's what it's for.
Yeah, no, I was just casually strolling and just looking
Yeah,
around. I, was
I
like,
keep
huh, a
I
monitor.
keep forgetting that exists. I'm
Did you
like, I
see-
can't see anybody, and I'm like, oh, they're there, right there. I don't know.
So it looks like Plymouth out in front, but we see it looks like Kearsarge is closing in fast, followed by, I believe, Kennett right behind.
I'd be wary of being too close to Kearsarge with a lap to go.
And it looks like Kearsarge is going to overtake Plymouth for that top spot going into the third handoff.
Very close, though.
And we
Great
got a quick switch at
finishes.
the line. Not a bad handoff on Kearsarge's part. A little bit slow on Plymouth, and
Yeah.
Kennett is right behind.
It was a nice handoff for Kearsarge.
Yeah. And like we said before, that could be
Could be huge.
the difference. Yeah.
You go from, battling out shoulder to shoulder, and if you get a good handoff, all of a sudden you have a
Yeah, a
gap.
little gap, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
As we see, Kearsarge is really
Which
trying
is
to surge.
which is what's happening right now.
And the gap is starting to increase slightly. We're going to see if Kennett or Plymouth can kind of close that gap and make it a little bit more competitive.
Looks like Maya Doobie anchoring for Kearsarge, so I don't imagine anybody's going to catch them.
I think we can assume that.
Kearsarge looking really good going into the final handoff with Maya Doobie. We just saw her get the meet record in the mile. She's looking really good. Comfortable lead, probably about 30 meters or so. You see Plymouth and Kennett. It's going to be the real race right there for second, with White Mountains and Guilford chasing after for that fourth and fifth spot. As we pan back over to the leader in Maya Doobie from Kearsarge, gap is starting to open up a little bit more. We're seeing she probably has close to a 50-meter lead over the competitors, but you
Yeah,
do see
she's,
Kennett closing that gap.
She's
on,
running
number
a
2
good
Plymouth.
leg, but can't go over the fact she tried to kill us with a javelin.
I
He's
know.
not letting it go.
I'm not
Nope.
going to let it go.
Next week when states come, we're going to talk
Unacceptable.
about it then.
Unacceptable.
Maya looking really good coming down the straightaway. And they're going to try to break their time of 4:31, and they do with ease, 4:17.
Watch out, she might throw the baton at us.
It looks like Plymouth and Kennett are going to battle it out, but it looks like Plymouth will hold their own, and they come in at a 4:28, 4:29, 4:30 for Kennett. Looks like Kennett got a PR about 4 seconds. Guilford in fourth, and White Mountains in fifth.
It's a great day to get a PR.
Great day.
I've interviewed a couple people, and a lot of them have gone PRs and way better times than they
Yeah.
have the whole season, which is understandable with the weather that we've had so far. So I'm sure they appreciate today.
I've always liked running a good race at a morning meet,
Mhm.
because then it's
You
like
get
you
to
go
enjoy
home
it
and
the-
you have the whole
Yeah.
rest of the day
And
to
you're in a
just
good mood.
relax
Yeah.
and be like, ah, man, I did so well today. Now I just get to hang out.
I'm always wary of that though. When something goes really well, like getting out of finals or something, you just feel really good. I feel like something's coming that's gonna really level the playing field again. I'm always worried about it. It happened to me in
Man.
finals. I was doing pretty well, and actually, I got into a car accident, and I was just like,
Oh,
Jeez.
dang.
it was just a slight fender bender, but
It's
so
still enough to.
it's
I
just
bet it
enough to
was
be
your
like,
fault,
oh,
wasn't
come
it?
on now.
It was
So
your
it's-
fault.
Were you texting and driving?
No, I wasn't. Honestly, I was pulling out of a place, and I thought the woman went, untapped my brakes, and
So
little
it
fender-
was.
Honestly,
so it
I-
was your fault.
Oh.
I did
Okay,
that the
well,
other
reality-
day. I almost did that the other day. I thought she was gonna go, and then I
Yeah.
was looking to see if I could go.
That's
and
exactly
then,
what
like,
happened to
she didn't
me.
go. I was like, ah.
That's exactly what
That
happened to me.
happens.
I mean, granted, Michigan has the it's like this thing where there's like a no fault if you get like into like a fender bender type thing. If it's something like that, I guess there's
Yeah.
no fault. So, but either way, it's just something you got to be careful of, and never always watch yourself when you're in a good mood.
My uncle did that one time. He was like merging on the highway and crashed into another car because he was looking over his shoulder and then hit somebody in front of him.
Funny
Yeah.
story. My best friend rear-ended me. I did the same thing. Like
Yeah.
it was just it was enough time for me to stop and enough time for her to. And I look in my rearview mirror and we're both just laughing. Nothing happened to either of our cars. We
Yeah,
were just laughing.
that's how
and,
mine
like,
was, but
what
yeah.
just happened? We were
Well,
just
my
like,
uncle did that, and he gets out of the car to exchange insurance information with the lady that he hit, and it was his wife.
Oh,
And they didn't know
oh
it.
wow!
How did he not know it was his wife?
I don't know. He didn't recognize the car. Or I don't know.
But looking back into the race, this is the men's 4x400 meter as we see White Mountains in the lead with a decent handoff, but it looks like we have Guilford following close behind. We have Prospect Mountain, White Mountains, and Bishop Brady in the mix as
pretty
well.
good. Pretty good move by Brady using the baton as kind of a air traffic controller type setup.
I like to see it. I like to see a little bit of hand motion with those things sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Telling your next handoff to get moving.
especially in the 4x4.
Results of the girls,
But
fourth
yeah,
place,
we look back.
You don't want to run over your
Mountains, fifth place,
your
Newfound.
teammate.
Fourth place.
I did that once. I handed off to my teammate in a 4x4, and then I ran past him. And I was like, "Go! Hurry up!"
How am I passing you right now?
As we see White Mountains really surging down the straightaway, trying to increase the gap that they
Yeah.
have, looking pretty good.
Great
I'm gonna-
arms.
And we're gonna see exactly what happens when they hand off here. Gonna hand off in a
Smooth handoff.
152.
That guy's tall.
Very tall, especially for a 400
Yeah.
meter runner. What
What just happened?
just happened?
Why was he looking back like that?
Huh. I don't know if he thought that he was supposed to hand it off again or what, but
Yeah, I'm not
either
really.
way,
But it almost looked like people were yelling at him, so I'm not.
yeah, I know.
I'm a little
There's a little miscommunication between Guilford and a couple of the other athletes. Guilford's athlete looks back like he messed up
Something
or
was
something,
wrong,
but we're
yeah.
not quite sure what happened there. But we see the White Mountains athlete starting to tense up a little bit going to that final straightaway before the last handoff.
They have a comfortable lead.
But they have a
Yes.
commanding lead over the rest of the
50
field.
meters,
Yeah, about 50 meters or so, as you see
maybe a little bit more.
Guilford and trying to see the third place team currently. But
Oh,
not,
All right.
not a
Not
terrible
the
handoff,
smoothest.
but not the
Yeah.
smoothest. Definitely not the
I
smoothest.
thought they were gonna drop it for a second.
If I had to critique one thing in this meet, is the handoffs.
Mm.
That's something that all teams could definitely work on.
I feel like it's something that a lot of teams don't really practice.
It's something that I definitely feel like. I mean, how much did you guys practice?
Oh,
it?
we practice every meet.
Exactly.
Multiple times, and it was,
Exactly.
we practiced until our coaches thought we were good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to practice
Even for
4x4
4x8s.
handoffs.
Yeah.
I remember for 4x4 we would do it once, and if
Call it
it
a
was
day.
decent, then that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. For me,
We're like,
I-
well, we didn't drop it,
Yeah,
so
we're
we're good.
good.
well, that's the thing. I mean, for me, I always like to make sure I'm OCD about some things, and I really like to make sure that everything is as good as it can be. So that's one of the things I don't like to worry, because I have dropped the baton before, like we talked about earlier. So it's something I always like to check. But coming in at around 350 was
White Mountain?
that was yeah, that might have been White
I think it
Mountains.
was.
That was White Mountains. My bad.
Yeah.
Followed by, it looks like Prospect Mountain and
Guilford.
Guilford. But great job to those.
I mean, the
those
thing
teams
is,
in this
on a
race.
4x4, I feel like the people in the relay change around so much that
That it might even be like that
every
every
meet it's a different group,
Yeah.
and so even if you practice it all the time, it's gonna be different every time.
Right.
But,
And usually before, the relays, you practice a little bit anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're going to get into the final race of the day. Is the second heat of the men's 4x400 meter relay. In this heat, we have Kingswood, Plymouth Regional, Kennett, Interlakes, Belmont, Kearsarge, Winnisquam, and I'm not quite sure if we have Massinic in this one. I'm trying to see.
I don't see
No.
them.
So it doesn't look like we're going to have Massinic in this one. So we will have 7 teams that will fill up 7 out of the 8 lanes on the track. And let's see if we can have an exciting finish to the day with an overall great meet.
I like you were talking about practicing relays or handoffs, before the relay. You see a lot of teams just kind of doing strides
Right.
and handing off at the same time. Like you just put everybody in a line.
Some drills.
You do.
Yeah.
Yep.
You do strides into the handoff. And,
Right.
just get it
Kind of accomplish a couple things at one time.
Right, just get
Yeah.
kind of warmed up and get comfortable with handing it off at the same time.
Right.
And Scott's prediction of 115 is a little bit off. It is now 117. So
Ooh.
my guess of
He's
130
about
is
5 minutes off. Not bad.
my guess of 130 is not as far off as I thought it was going to be.
His was closer.
His will be closer.
Although,
in
is
the
this like a Price is Right type scenario? Like you
Where
have to
if
be
it's all or nothing?
closest without going over.
end. Yeah. In that case, I'm the champion. But yeah,
Yeah, you win a nice sofa set.
I win a
for-
nice ride home
for your
from Tim
apartment.
Cox.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a win. You won a breakfast sandwich this morning.
That's true. That was
That is
greasy
true.
though.
If I recall, you said soggy.
It was soggy. I'll say that. It was soggy with
I feel like it
grease.
could be both. Yeah.
Yeah, it was soggy with grease, but we're
I got
off
a
in
nice,
this the last
nice
heat.
Toasted bagel.
Oh, don't even get me started with bagels.
Bagel.
Bagel.
Sorry. I said bagel just to be sarcastic at this
No,
point.
I get that.
Uh,
But yeah, so this looks like it's going to be, right now, it looks like it's a 3-team race. At least in this first leg, looks like we have, looks like Kennett up top, followed by Kearsarge, and looks like Belmont, my bad.
I feel like we've gotten consistently more off topic the further in the day we go.
Some things just come across your mind, you got to talk about it.
I feel like at the beginning of the day we were like talking about racing.
I mean, we've been here for how long? There's only so much.
As we go into the first handoff, it looks like Belmont's going to hand it off first, closely behind Winnisquam, and Kearsarge in that mix.
Both of those handoffs were pretty good.
Yeah,
so.
they were pretty solid. And
I
it looks
think our
like
new interview question should be, how do you feel about rice cakes?
it's a good one.
We could do a fun question like that.
Hey, we can start that on our podcast. You know?
Rice cakes.
He always asks me to do a fun question, but I'm just not creative enough to think
Yeah,
of
that's-
one. Like,
that's
you can do like your
hard.
favorite superhero, but I just feel like that's lame.
It's kind of
It's like,
generic,
eh.
you know.
You
Yeah.
remember?
It's like your superpower. It's like,
Remember they
Yeah,
asked
that one.
they asked our 4x8 team what all of our favorite superpowers were, and everybody was like, oh, like flying or invisibility.
Right.
And Tanner said he wanted to be able to tunnel under the ground. And everybody was
That's
like,
just like-
why?
That's such a typical
Why
Tanner
would you
response.
want that?
As we see,
Why would anybody
Belmont,
want that?
Belmont surging down, but you have Kearsarge
Oh.
and Kennett coming down fast.
We got Caputo.
It's going to be very close. It looks like Kearsarge is going to edge out Kennett going into the handoff. This could be big for Kearsarge.
Great
Decent
handoff
handoffs
by
on all of
Kennett.
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
decent
That's
handoffs on
great.
all of them. And again, it's a 3-team race going into the third leg.
Wow, Caputo is just such a strong runner.
Winnisquam and looks like Kingswood followed by Interlakes. This is becoming an exciting race
Outer
very
Lakes.
quick. Looking at the monitor over here, I know that you guys may not be able to see that where you are, but just looking at the monitor and the race, it's going back and forth the entire time. And right now, Kennett's in the lead. It was.
Did you say they can't see the monitor?
Well, they can't see this monitor. They can see everything.
That's what they're watching.
Hey, let's not change this right now. We're focused on this. Okay. As
I
we see
mean,
Davio critiquing
I'm
what
staying
I'm
out of this
saying.
one. I'm
Okay,
saying.
I can see multiple views. How about that? So now back to the race.
What
We
else
see
would they
Kennett
be
going down the
seeing?
straightaway as we see Belmont coming on the outside. They're going to see if they can overtake them going to the final handoff. As we see Kearsarge starting to die off in the background. We don't know what to expect going into the last leg.
Right.
Kennett with a pretty decent handoff, but Belmont's right there. This is going to be a great finish.
Yeah.
Kearsarge in third, pretty commanding third spot. We see Winnisquam in fourth, Kingswood in fifth, trying to chase down Winnisquam. This is going to be an exciting finish if those two can go around. Going down the back straightaway. The camera's even having a hard time keeping up with these guys.
There they are.
Kennett and Belmont battling it out all the way around, going into the third and fourth turn.
Wow, this
Let's
is-
see what they can do. As we see Berlin making a move, Belmont on the outside making a move. We're going to see if they can hold that going to the final straightaway. As we see Kennett starting to slowly die off. We're going to see if he has a move though.
Too
Right.
bad everybody at home can't see any of this.
I hate you. As we see the final straightaway, looks like Belmont's going to be able to hold off
Yeah.
Kennett in a very strong fourth leg for them.
Great
And they're
run.
going to come through. Great race
That
from
was
both
a
teams
great-
in a 3:37, 3:39. Great race from those two. Third place comes in Kearsarge with a 3:45. Winnisquam and Kingswood with a 3:47.
Good for
And
Red
Interlakes with a 3:48, 3:49. Great race from all of them. As we see one last team out there trying to finish it out strong. And this has been a great day of competition. Beautiful day in itself, one of the best of the year. And couldn't have asked for much more. If we're going to finish this out, we have Plymouth coming around. Final straightaway. Got to round out this this race and this great day. And Plymouth's going to finish it out in a 4:27.
Thank you all for
So that was
attending
the
Wilderness
last race of the
Championship.
day. Great
Please
competition
take
all
your
around,
trash
all
when you get
events,
out of
all
here.
races.
Thank you for
We
making
saw
this
one
easy.
meet record go
Also a
down. Great
reminder,
shout out to
there are
Emma
still
Doobie,
shirts
or
on
Maya
the
Doobie, my bad.
concession stand.
But this is New Hampshire TrackandField.com.
Awards will
We are
be up
powered by
during
Runners
the
Alley.
rally. Again,
And this
if you
is the
finish with
2019
positive
Wilderness
energy,
League
please
Championships,
go over to the track shed and
sponsored by
pick up your
Tim's Truck Capital.
awards
I'm
and
Evan
interview.
Tangway, and for the rest of
We're
the
winner in any of
staff
events.
here at
Please
New
stop
Hampshire
by
Track
the
and
Runners
Field, we
Alley
thank
tent
you for
to get
tuning in
interviewed by
and
New
look
Hampshire
forward to
Track
having
and
you guys
Field.
later on. Thank you. And we are out.